Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for you. Got it? Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Don't force anything. Take what you need, leave the rest. That's how it works. Now, on my channel, I like to look at everything, so don't worry. We'll be looking to see what your person is thinking and what they're going to do. But we look at not just what they did also, but we look at why they did what they did, why they do what they do, why you're attracting that person into your life. These are shadow readings because I like to dive deep within the readings. A lot of times we understand that a person likes us. Big deal. They like us, but they treat us like shit, and it's triggering, and it can keep us in a place of limitation, isolation, right? Because when we're angry, when someone pisses us off, well, first of all, that then that's a karmic, but it also could be a twin flame. Relationships are spiritual. So without understanding the spiritual lesson, a lot of times we stay stuck in a karmic pattern, a karmic loop. And that karmic loop is, oh my God, this is the same shit that happened like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And it's again the karmic theme that keeps you in a place of limitation or really any emotion that's derived from fear. So it could be limitation, it could be jealousy, it could be anger, it could be resentment, it could feel betrayal. It's again any energy that is rooted in fear. So we're talking shame, we're talking guilt, and all these lower energies. And when those energies are not integrated over time, they're held in the body as stress. It makes it very difficult for prana, chi, spirit, God, because it's all the same thing, to flow through you. Understand there's no separation from you and your creator. But then why aren't you able to have a successful relationship? Why aren't you able to obtain financial abundance? And I'll tell you why. It's because you haven't integrated your trauma. Experiences that we go through are traumatic. A lot of them. I mean, just birth alone, just when we're born, is traumatic. And we don't even remember that shit, right? I mean, and there are actual things that we remember. So it's really, 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 really important to integrate the spiritual lesson to stop the karmic cycles that keep you stuck in a place of limitation, that keep you separate from your creator, separate from feeling connected to being able to connect truly, truly to 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 other people. Really, there's no separation. Through empathy, sensitivity, we can feel what another person feels. We know what they feel a lot of times because we've gone through the situation ourselves, empathy, sensitivity. But we shouldn't need to be put in a place of war to understand, oh, well, now we're going to band together. Now we're going to become more spiritual. We can actually make it a daily practice. Really, that's what it's about. It's about understanding that shadow healing needs to be done as a daily practice. Yeah, that's right. And the reason why is because you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So if you're not clear on the spiritual level, again, you're gonna have problems making money, like or connecting to people on a deep level, trusting people. Intimacy at its deepest level is trust and creating a successful life. And over time, then, of course, you're not going to believe in anything. We wouldn't believe in anything. If we're only believing in ourselves, we have to believe that there's something greater and more powerful. And the divinity is that. That is God. And there's no separation from us and our creator. But like I said, we live in experiences. So anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box below. $7.99 will get you inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. And that's huge because who wants to be consistent? I know that sounds so ignorant, but trauma makes us not want to. We get lazy, especially if we have root chakra imbalances. And I know I used to have one. It's hard to stay present. It's hard to, like it's where addictions are. It's where self-esteem problems are rooted and just ugh. It's like evil, that side. But obviously, I've come to the bright side, the light side, and it's through integration. It's through healing the effects of my trauma. That's right, bitches. No, I'm only kidding. See, healing the effects of trauma, oracle cards, virtue. Virtue is the underlining energy. Okay, so let's see what else. Virgo. Always want to know what is influencing the reading, whose energy is influencing the reading. But sometimes it's the person that you're connected to, it's their mask. I'm not really feeling that this evening. I feel virtue. Virtue that's and criticism. Oh. So you're in separation from someone that actually thinks that you're a goody goody. They think that you act as if you're too good for them now because you've been in separation from them from a while for a while. And so, they're still not wanting to apologize. They're still not wanting to surrender their ego. And so, and it's mainly not because it's because you live on the straight and narrow. You don't sleep around. You don't cheat people. You say what you mean what you say, and if you're grounded, you're grounded. So your good attributes are pissing off this person. And it's because they know that they fucked up. Excuse my language, folks, but you know, they know. And because they know, now it's your fault because I can't do anything with this. But really, underneath it, there's a lot of sorrow and sadness because what this person is realizing is that how they treated you. And that's really what I feel. We're going to pull just one more from this deck. Yeah, because they ghosted. They left you. They weren't there for you. They didn't give you time. They didn't give you energy. Like I just feel as if this person, like you couldn't talk to them. You couldn't talk to them. They didn't want to build the relationship. But why didn't they want to build the relationship? It's like we want to know not just the triggers, we want to know why. Let's ask that question. Because I don't really understand like why people do what they do, when they have feelings. It could be a lot of different reasons. Well, this person, like, I feel like it wasn't the right timing. They were focused on their abundance. Um, they didn't see it. They didn't see they didn't see like the wish. They didn't see the serendipity. They didn't see it, even though they knew, or I should say they saw it, but they always thought that it was gonna be there. That's the energy. It's almost like, yeah, it was like it was a sure thing. And so, and that it wasn't the right timing. they were waiting for the perfect timing. So it was almost like they got their wish, but they didn't know what to do with it. And it was almost like, well, it's like you're a sure thing. I don't have to put time into you because you showed them who you are. And see, that's the thing. Most people lie. And I feel like when they met you, you know, you were honest and you were raw with your feelings and your emotions. And this person is used to not being with people that are that way. They're used to being with people that aren't able to like articulate. They're sneaky. They're usually sneaky to get what they want. This person normally has toxic relationships, is what I feel. So it's like they always wanted, they didn't see the blessing, or they knew that it was a blessing. For some of you guys, it's like this person wasn't ready. They were running around with other people, so they didn't see it. And for some of you, it was like you were a sure thing. And for some of you, it was both. It's like you're a sure thing. I really don't have to, but I also don't know what to do with this energy. So I'm gonna wait for the perfect timing. It's so like I said, and and so and they were just kind of looking for sex, like sexual fulfillment. They wanted to have a love affair. They wanted it leisure. Kind of likes to stay in the dream time because you and this person have a strong ESP connection. There is a strong astral travel there, right? But it's almost like the intimacy problems. This person wanted to focus on the sexual pleasure. They didn't want to like go really that much deeper. That's really what it is. It was like, and not possibly just because that's the way that they knew how to navigate relationships. Um, and the thing is, you are the type of person that's like you have an integrity. Like, and that's the thing. It's like you were like almost like too much of a goody goody, too boring. I'm gonna like tell you, it's like very like because you're so grounded, or this person sees you as so grounded. And the irony is that maybe you weren't always this grounded, but this person just they were in a place of party time, though they always wanted a relationship like that. So I feel like this person just tried to control the whole thing. Tried to like suppress you. Like they wanted you to submit to them is all. You know what I mean? That's really the energy. And so let's look at your triggers, which obviously we can see being connected to someone and them having feelings, but it was like almost like they compartmentalized you. It's like they wanted to put you on the shelf. They wanted to put you in a box. They wanted to, I'm gonna come back for you. It's like I know that you're the person in my dreams. I always wished that this is what I was gonna have, but I don't really know what to do with it, and I kind of want to have my cake and eat it too. And so I'm going to abandon you because I want you to submit to me. I want you to submit to me. And I want that again, it to be focused on the sexual fulfillment, and that's not what you're about. So this person tried to, again, they ghosted you. It was abandonment. So it was like you were forgotten about. And they wanted you to feel that way. They were angry because it's like you weren't giving in to like what they wanted. It's like you were making it difficult. And so, this person has a hard time of letting go of the past, but so did you. They didn't take into consideration that you had a hard time letting go of the past. And you just felt like, here we go again. Here's another relationship of that, is gonna like play out as chaos in the relationship. Like that's really how their past triggered you because you're like, I didn't do anything, but you're like, you want things your way or the highway. And so they were mean. They had this hard energy. They were not nice to you on top of it. So it was like, and they wanted you to feel that way. Again, we keep saying the same thing, kept out, like you're not invited, forgotten about, abandoned. And again, the same thing. Like it's like just didn't really include me. So if this person put like if you usually see people that you date like a few times a month or a few times a week, they were doing like maybe like texting you. Like they were like texting you, like saying that they were gonna like get together, saying that they were going to, because it's again, you're not gonna sleep with me. And being that you're not going to sleep with me until like I put in the time, I don't have to do that. That's why this person's like, but they were mad because it's also like, well, who the hell are you to tell me? Again, almost like you were, criticizing them and being judgmental to them, again. So that's really, again, it pissed this person off because it's you know, like who the hell are you? So they were trying to instill fear. But what happened is it pushed this person into a place of disequilibrium, which is just imbalance, where now they're hostile because they know that you see them as a disappointment and that you're like, well, maybe it was just a lie. It was illusion because my person wouldn't have given me such a hard time. Again, resentment. Or my person wouldn't make me feel insecure. Or blame me for the separation, and now that you're seeing them kind of like a narcissist, because you're like, wow, like, and maybe some of you guys slept with this person, or that would, but once, or like, but this person wanted the relationship all about that. And that's not what you wanted the relationship. In the cards, it makes it like this person feels like they never got it. Even if, you gave it, but maybe you're conservative with it. And so they wanted somebody more like a slut, someone that was more like a gigolo, someone that was more like that. That's what they wanted. They wanted to compartmentalize, but notice how they didn't want you to, you know, they wanted to give you just enough so you like stayed stuck. And then, and I'll get back to you maybe, which, that type of attitude. Like again, we go back to the meanness, to the rudeness, to the arrogance, where now you lost your feelings for this person. You're like, well, it's like the feelings may still, like you may still have feelings for this person a little bit, but now that they showed you that, you're like, I don't, I don't really have, I'm not, what they were trying to do, that plan backfired on them. It completely blew up in their fucking face because it's like, what they thought was going to be a sure thing is like you're like so turned off from this person because you see them as flighty and flaky and like there's no chemistry because you wouldn't give me the time. If you wouldn't give me the time, then you didn't take the time. You don't know anything about me. So in your mind, you're saying to yourself, you want me to be somebody that is imaginary, someone because you didn't take the time to get to know me. So it's like you're imagining through what you're perceiving because you didn't take the time, and that's not who the fuck I am, and that's a disaster waiting to happen because there's no real true intimacy. or trust. There's lust. And that's how this person rolls. And so that's what the problem is. And you're like, ew. And so again, and then this person wanted to be, it goes back to the dominant, their pride, wanting control, and then not getting what they wanted and being angry. And the way that they tamed their anger was to be like, well, I'm then gonna like do whatever I want to do. And that's not give you time. And again, and check out because it did bother them on top of it because this person suppressed themselves, you know, through escapism, avoidant. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to I don't want us to know. It's my way or the highway. You're going to hold out on me. You're going to hold out on me. You know, this person usually likes to have conflict is the opportunity, you know, for love to get back together. And you're like not going to give this person, you're not talking to them. That's why this person perceives you as like being all like virtuous, like, oh, you're such a goody goody. You're such a, it's again, they didn't see it in a positive way. They saw it as like they were criticizing. And they know that you're not going to get like swept up and want any fling. And it's like that's really this person likes to like break up to make up to have a fling and it never gets deep. And you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not, I see exactly who you are. I see exactly who you are. And that's and there's no depth is what you're saying to like you didn't give me time. It's like you don't know anything about me. You're imagining that I'm someone that I'm not even that person. It's like, so what, that you're going to be all dominant to me? It's like, you know, who the fuck do you think I am? It's almost like that's what you like, Virgo. You're like, like I am not like a flighty zodiac. I'm a Virgo. Come on. Like it's like no, it's like this person like is angry again because they're what they're really is stressed out right now. And they realize that, you know, this person realizes that they didn't put the time in and that there was a very strong past life connection here. They know it because they can still feel it. They know they created the illusion that they didn't have feelings for you and really they're still creating the illusion that again that they don't care because they're stuck in a place of being mad. You're not talking to me, so I'm not going to talk to you. You think that you're better than I am? Well, I don't care. Like it's again this energy. That's why they're stressed out. That's why they're angry because it's like, oh no, they know that they pushed it over the line and that you're not interested and that they fucked up a good thing. They wanted it over sex. Really, that's really what it was. It was all about the sex. It was all about where this person was, that they wanted to run around, sleep around, you know, and also be with you. Or be with you in that way all the time, and you were just not going to be in the bedroom like 95% of the relationship. That's not like this is addictive, be very addictive behavior. It's a form of escapism. It's a form of trauma, you know, where they're impulsive. They don't like commitment. It's like, you know, and so you want to know what they're doing really now. It's again, there's still that energy of that. It's like they're angry and they're stressed out. So it's again, what do? They create the illusion that everything's fine because you are like this past life karmic mate, which they should have gotten it right this time around. They didn't, but then what happens is that they go out and then they meet somebody and then they lie and it's all about the sex. You know, so it's again, they don't have to look and really see how they treated you because it's again, you're holding back and but really Again, that you're intimidating this person because you're standing your ground. What you're saying is, wow, that's really all that you got? That's all, like, I mean, this person's acting like a jackass. If they really had feelings, they would come and surrender their ego. They'd apologize. But instead, they're gonna, like, avoid and create all these things where you're like looking at this person and you're like, ew. It's like that you ruin the trust. You ruin the trust because you're so full of fear and you want, because it's all about your self-image. It's all about your self-image. And that's really where they are now. They're stuck in a place of mad. And it's because, hey, what it is that you're not budging. You're not budging. You're like, you had to put the time in. You acted like giving me the time was such a big deal. And because of that, like the feelings like left because this person didn't create the intimacy. It's like, and now you might still have a spiritual connection, but what you'll notice is you have this spiritual connection where you're like, but then you're like, then what happens is right after you're like, no, but this person fucked up. They weren't there. They ruin the trust. They ruin the intimacy. Second chakra imbalance, this person has a very bad second chakra imbalance. And because we saw addiction, we saw escapism, we saw, them wanting to be dominant, wanting to control. And that's again, that's that first and second chakra work very close together. So about fear, this person's intimidated. Again, coming close to you where you're like, I am not giving in and I see exactly who the fuck you are. This person, like you said, is angry because, hey, you do. You're like, you're a narcissist. And they are because they wanted everything their way and they don't like themselves. And they're not honest with people if they're running around with that many people. They just thought, hey, you were a sure thing. Past life connection, ESP through the heart and mind. So let's see. Let's see what they're going to do if they're going to do anything. And I'm not going to pull a lot of cards on that because it's like, like I just don't. Well, I feel like no, no, I feel like this person. First of all, they're a shapeshifter. So are they gonna come back? Well, they might come back, but it's like I feel like you're gonna give them restrictions and boundaries, because you don't trust this person. They're a shapeshifter. So, it's unlikely that you're gonna take this person back. Um, if this person is gonna come back, they're gonna come back within a few weeks. I don't really feel like, again, you will take this person back, because it's like if they came back, you still don't trust this person. So Spirit says it doesn't really matter what they're going to do in this particular story. Um, However, do have to see why you attracted this person into your life. You're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. And sometimes it's just that way. You're like, ugh, I wouldn't take that fucking person back if they were the last man, the last woman, the last frog, the last, I don't care what the fuck. I just wouldn't take them back ever. It's like because you just saw something. And that's the thing. This person never thought that passion, that connection would be broken. But you learned the spiritual lesson you had to have for you to be like, ugh, I don't like you anymore. I don't see you the same way anymore. You like ruined the connection. And that's why this person is like they're like and they know it. They can feel it. They can feel the change in you that you are just not interested and you're not. So we have to look at the inner child wounds and see why you could attracted that person. What happened? What was the trauma that happened? Or the gifts. Here, crafts and creativity. So I'd say that's a gift. anger, depression, resilience. That's another gift. Rebellious. I'm going to say that that's a gift a little bit, you know, overwhelmed, and again, innocence. So I feel like when you were young, you grew up with a parent that was so angry. They were just angry all the time. And so you were afraid. You were afraid to do anything because it was the way that they talked to you, the way that they dealt with you. They dealt with you the way that they were dealt with, which was kind of not nice. Like you were very afraid of your parents. And so the innocence. And because you were so afraid, it was like you were always overwhelmed. You were always overwhelmed, but you got to the point where you like kind of was like almost like screw you, where you were seen as like rebellious because you're like, listen, you're gonna try and keep me down from, seeing friends or playing an instrument. I don't know, that's for some. I don't know who needed to play an instrument or to join that rock and roll band or to like become an artist, to join acting, whatever it is again that like my creative being, because really the spirit part of self, the God is the God part of self, which is the creative genius. So whatever you're putting your energy to or wanted to pour your energy into, it was like you weren't allowed to. It was oppressed, and it was done by criticizing. It was nasty. Criticizing, making you feel as if like there was something wrong with you. So if you were going to do anything, you kind of had to do it on the sneak. You kind of had to lie or just not tell that parent, because the parent would always like criticize and kind of smash it down, and you like got to the point, but you got strong. You got resilient. That's what happened. So I feel like your creativity is your creative expression, whatever that was that you wanted to do. And that could have been like, I wanted to follow this band, or I wanted to dye my hair blue, or I wanted to, whatever it was. And that parent was like, no, you're going to do it like I tell you to do it. And when I tell you to do it, and how I tell you to do it. And and it didn't matter like what what it was, and so you are clearly didn't feel safe with that parent, so that created a second chakra imbalance in you, because hey, you weren't allowed to have your unique unfoldment process. And our unique unfoldment process is a spiritual walk that happens when you are co-creating with spirit. It's that you're interactive in what it is that you love to do, what you're drawn to, and a path unfolds. You are not saying, oh, what do I need to do next? You're living your bliss because intuitively you are led. And so when that happens, it's like this is how you became strong and resilient, where you had to not just rely on your logical thinking, but you had to cyclically maneuver around this nasty parent, this angry parent, and like, hurt people, so that there was trauma. So then we have to look and say, well, can we do with that energy? What should we be doing with that energy? Because, hey, you're not going to be entertaining this person, which leads time, right? And so that's why there's many different realities that play out at one time. So if your level of consciousness is, I love myself, even if I grew up with a parent that acted as if they didn't love me, to the point that they oppressed me. Well, I love me. Uh, understand everything we need to live. Um, Different perceptions sometimes if we've grown up in an environment that taught us that we're not worthy, that we're not good enough, that There was something. And sometimes the parents not even saying it, but it's the way that they live. If you watch your parents struggle financially, I watched my father struggle so much financially, and he was a brilliant man that skipped grades in school, and the nicest man that you ever wanted to meet. Nicest guy, like I said. And but he had problems. He had problems, spiritual problems. And it showed up financially because when we have financial problems, there's an indication that, we feel we're not worthy. We don't know. Like, and it's not even that we're saying, oh, I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm not worthy. No, but if you don't know who you are, then what happens is you might say, I feel like I'm worthy, but people treat me as if they feel I'm unworthy. And then Spirit says, because you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So if you don't know your purpose to life that is actually connected to your money, well, then you don't feel good about yourself to the level that God wants you to the level of unconditional love. So it's again, whatever's happening on the inside is going to show up on the outside. The outside is a reflection of what's going on the inside. There's no other way. No matter how you flip that hourglass, it's the same thing. It's so it's like we're not aware. Not walking around saying, I'm not deserving. No one says that. What happens is that we get into a relationship with someone that makes us feel that way and it triggers us, and we're like, what the fuck? And then Spirit says, because again, you don't know your worth. You're not putting your energy where it needs to be for you to elevate to the highest level of consciousness. That's the issue. And it can be the expression of love is really the energy of God, and there's no separation from us. And that's why, again, to give and receive of love is done through many different ways, and we can create our own heaven. We create our own heaven on earth by, becoming the character of love. And so when we are in that energy of doing what we love and we're financially abundant, well, then we're nice to everybody. Did you ever notice that? We're having a great day. Why? Because I'm not fucking broke. That's why. Because I'm, in a good relationship. Because I am happy with myself. That's why. Just plain and simple. But when we feel like there's something wrong with us because we've lived in an environment that has kind of told us that. We have to say, what are the habits and behaviorisms? And we see here the attraction, and then Spirit says, and we're going to see what the habits and the behaviorisms like are also, or what you should have been doing. And Spirit saying, knowing your own limitless potential. Why would you be with somebody else that was trying to oppress you? My way or the highway. You should have been like the first moment that that person was like that, being like, you only want one thing. Peace out. Peace out. It's like what Spirit says, because you have limitless potential. The only limits that are holding you are yourself. You can achieve great things, Spirit says. But you're not even settling for mediocre with this person. I mean, and then that's why, hey, you didn't, like, you're missing the karmic, consequences, because they would have been with that person. However, Spirit says, change your mindset. First of all, we want to not attract the same thing, the same type of person. We don't want to do that. And that begins by, again, envisioning. If you can imagine it, you can create it, right? That's what they say. That's what the law of the universe says. That's what God says, because God says, well, no separation from you and me. I gave you my power. It's again, you can manifest. Some people can manifest a lot faster than other people because some people don't have as many spiritual blockages. That's just the way that it goes. But and sometimes people have a lot of spiritual blockages in the beginning of their life, and then they don't have any at the end, and some people have them at the end and not the beginning. And, we're all different. And Spirit says, but you have to imagine it. That's it. Takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. We're all David going up against Goliath. God says, please don't do my job. Do your job. Be like childlike. Brighter horizons. Envision them and understand these two things go together. You have to embody it like you already have it. It's already happening. It's already happening. I already got that job. I already got that job. I already got that opportunity. I already won that person over. I already, whatever that dream is, and we have to fake it till we make it and understand no one knows what they're doing. We're all figuring it out. It's like, but we can hold to a certain standard. You learn to use your voice. You have to set boundaries. You have to teach people how you want to be treated. So don't be afraid to speak. Obviously, if someone oppressed you, you weren't allowed to speak. If this person thought that they could manipulate you into the bedroom, well, guess what? Or just have a relationship like that. Well, it's again, you didn't set the boundaries. You got to use your voice, learn to use it because we got to ask for what we need. We have to, again, be confident and ask for what we need. It's again, and learning to be vulnerable. Remember, you got to open your heart. That's what it's about. If you are oppressed, you want to shut your heart. So the safest way to be vulnerable is through, again, embracing your authenticity, right? It's like being open to healing your faults. This isn't about being vulnerable to like, oh, I'm going out to strangers and just opening up my heart. No, 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 we're not doing that. Spirit says you have to protect yourself, you have to use discernment, you know, but you have to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable. You have to, because you have to, you want to continue to have empathy. You want to continue to, like I said, when you embrace your authenticity, that's through your path or doing the things that you love. By giving and receiving of love, you connect to people on a deep, rich level. That people, again, will know that it's true. And that's really what it's about. It's about being true. It's like, and that's because the universe responds to the authenticity. It like if you try to become someone else or emulate someone else, by wearing a mask, well, Spirit says it's not going to work. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be true, and that's always through your path. So Spirit says you're working on your path. Always take time out to create the sacred space to tap into the higher self. That higher self is the God part of self. We can do that through meditation. We can do that through, again, journaling, reflecting is what Spirit's saying, because you're co-creating, and that there's really infinite possibilities. The only limitations are you. The boundaries. What is this? Boundless opportunities arise when you release fear. So again, that fear is what needed to be transmuted because there's only two energies, love and fear. So how was it played out? It was played out as oppression, like someone saying it needs to be my way, where you were like, no, it doesn't. It needs to be my way because you didn't create that because you were oppressed. So that you would have been bound to your childhood trauma being with this person. Spirit says it's time for you to fulfill your promise because before anything, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And maybe you did things backwards. Maybe you got married first, right? It's again, and now you're finding yourself, whether you're still married or you're divorced or widowed, it's almost like spirit saying it's a new life. And so it would have been the starting of a new karmic cycle. And that's when we have to be careful that we don't wind up back in a karmic loop where of again of fear of any sort, whatever the uh karmic theme is, which could be betrayal, victimization, it could be anything. So you broke that karmic cycle, and this is great because what we saw is like infinite possibilities and just brighter horizons. We're saying, why would you pick that door? There's only a zonk behind that door. You want the door that has the $1 million, the brand new car, and you know, all appliances, all inclusive vacation. That door. This person they enjoyed like they enjoyed like you not being happy, and for them to think that you're being arrogant because you're not really paying attention to them, and they don't feel confident to really come back, you're intimidating them, is not your problem, but they'll make you feel as if it is because they're on a lower vibration. Spirit says, overcome your imperfections, polish your character, and feed on the positive. Free yourself, allow your goodness to manifest and become a source of joy. Through gentleness, offer unconditional support, understanding, and love to yourself and others, is what Spirit says. That is where we land off. And that's unconditional support and understanding and love. And we can do that as long as we're taking care of ourselves. Being with a person like that, they want you to take care of them. It's all about them. You weren't out even allowed to be a person. You're only allowed to be part of their imagination and what they wanted you to be, and no one's got time for that. I'll leave that there, Virgo. Love you. And check out the lives. What? You guys only watch me like when I do like a pre-recorded? Come on, people. Where's the love? And by the way, if you like the video, don't forget to like it. That's just common knowledge. Come on. And don't forget to check out all the links and stuff that's in the description box. I love you. Be true to you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.